The Union of Worlds had seen many new civilizations rise across the stars. They had watched young species build simple rockets, then travel to nearby moons, and finally learn to cross the space between planets. For most of these species, the path was slow and predictable. The Union never felt surprise. They had already mapped out what progress looked like, step by step. But this time, things were different. The first signal of something unusual appeared in the quiet sector near the border of Union space. A listening station detected movement. At first, the officers thought it was a group of trade ships or an exploration convoy. Nothing about it seemed alarming. Still, protocol required them to track it. The data arrived slowly, and as the picture grew clearer, the officers leaned closer to their screens. These were not ordinary trade ships. The shapes were too sharp, the formations too strict, and the patterns too exact. It looked like a fleet, and fleets only came from strong powers. The station commander, an old figure named Rahl, did not speak at first. He simply stared. Then he whispered, more to himself than to the crew. Where did they come from? The officers searched records. The fleet's origin was soon confirmed. The signal came from a small blue world at the edge of the galaxy. The name of the world was Earth. At once the room filled with questions. Earth humans, were they not only just learning to travel among stars? How could they send a fleet into Union space so soon? The commander did not answer. Instead, he sent an urgent report to the High Council of the Union. The news spread quickly. Within days, every council hall across the Union was alive with discussion. Ambassadors repeated the same words again and again. A fleet from Earth was here. A fleet with designs that none of them had expected. The Union had seen Earth before. Long ago, probes had been sent to watch from a distance. Reports had shown a young world still struggling with its own history. The people of Earth had been curious and full of energy, but they were not supposed to be ready for this level of travel. The Union had quietly agreed to leave Earth alone until the time was right. That time, they thought, was centuries away. And yet, here they were. The first visual images of the Earth fleet shocked the Council. The ships were large, sleek, and balanced in design. Their engines gave off steady signals, showing power that matched the oldest members of the Union. The fleet moved together as if every ship shared one mind. One council member, a wise speaker named Aaron, leaned forward during the assembly. "This is not the work of chance," she said. "They are showing us something. They want us to see." Others disagreed. Some argued that Earth must have stolen technology from an older race. Some said the fleet was only a small trick, meant to look stronger than it was. And some whispered fears that Earth might be a hidden power rising to challenge the Union. Through all the debate, the images kept repeating on every screen. The ships moved in calm silence. They neither attacked nor retreated. They simply flew, steady and confident. The people of the Union began to talk in markets and homes. Stories passed from world to world. Children asked their parents if Earth was a new ruler of the stars. Traders worried that the balance of power might shift. Scientists studied the fleet's signals late into the night, trying to understand. The council called an emergency session. Leaders from 100 worlds gathered in one place. The hall echoed with voices, each one trying to speak louder than the last. Finally, the high speaker raised a hand. Silence spread across the hall. "We must not act in fear," the speaker said. "This fleet has not shown us harm. But we cannot ignore the truth. Earth has arrived sooner than expected. One fleet alone is enough to make us uncertain. The words carried weight. Everyone understood the meaning. Back at the border station, Commander Rahl continued to watch the fleet. He noticed the way the Earth ships adjusted their path slightly, as if they knew they were being observed. He felt a strange chill run through him. It was not a chill of danger but of realization. The humans were not stumbling into Union space. They were arriving with purpose. Rahl wrote one last line in his daily log before sending it to the council. His words were simple. If one fleet can shake us this much, we must prepare for what else they may bring. And so, across the Union, a quiet unease began to grow. The Earth fleet entered the quiet edge of Union space without hurry. Their engines glowed with steady light, and their ships moved as one body. To the Union observers, it felt almost like a silent performance. Every turn, every adjustment of speed, and every formation shift was exact. Not even the oldest fleets of the Union moved with such smooth discipline. From the listening stations to the great cities of the Union, the first clear images of the fleet spread quickly. Each ship looked carefully built, strong yet simple. There was no wasted space, no strange decoration, and no sign of weakness. Every line in the design suggested purpose. Scientists on Union worlds leaned over their screens, trying to calculate the level of technology required to build such ships. Their results shocked them. By all known measures, Earth had advanced faster than any species before it. On the world of Arl, a council member named Sina spoke to her colleagues. "Look at the way they move," she said. "It is not just metal and engines. It is training. It is unity. These are not ships that wander. They know exactly what they are doing." Her words carried across the chamber. A murmur filled the hall as others admitted the same. The Earth fleet showed not only advanced tools but also advanced people. Among the Union public, curiosity grew into fascination. On trade ships, crews replayed the recordings of the Earth fleet, pointing out details to one another. Families at home gathered around screens, watching the same images again and again. Children imagined what it would be like to travel on one of those shining vessels. But fascination was mixed with worry. Some feared that if one fleet from Earth looked this powerful, there might be many more behind it. The thought spread from world to world until it reached every corner of the Union. The Union leaders met again in the central hall. This time, the debate was sharper. One group argued that Earth should be welcomed. "They are young," said Aaron, the wise speaker. "But their fleet shows calm order, not threat. We should speak to them as equals." Another group disagreed. "What if this is only the beginning?" asked Marin, a cautious member from the world of Tyrese. "What if they show us calm faces now, only to hide their real strength later?" Voices rose higher and higher, each side certain of its own view. Meanwhile, Earth's fleet continued its slow journey near the border. It did not cross into restricted zones, nor did it retreat. Instead, it moved like a guest waiting for the host to decide whether to open the door. From the bridge of one Union station, Commander Rahl studied the fleet with patient eyes. He noticed the small signals sent between the Earth ships. They were not random. Each one carried perfect timing, like notes in a song. To Rahl, it seemed as though the humans had trained their ships to speak a shared language. He wrote his thoughts into another report for the council. Their unity is their strength. No single ship leads, and none falls behind. They move as one mind. That is why they frighten us. When the report reached the council, silence filled the room. For the first time, the leaders understood what made the fleet so unsettling. It was not only the size of the ships or the glow of their engines. It was the simple fact that the humans worked together with no visible weakness. Whispers began in the chamber. If this is only one fleet, what would 10 look like? The question carried from mouth to mouth, and though no one answered, the thought remained in every mind. Out among the stars, the Earth fleet continued its steady movement, offering no explanation for its presence. It did not boast, it did not threaten, and it did not show fear. Its silence spoke louder than any words. By the end of that cycle, a phrase spread across the Union. It appeared first in private reports, then in speeches, and finally in everyday talk among the people. The phrase was simple and heavy with meaning. One fleet was enough to terrify us. The words became a mirror of their feelings. Even without a single shot fired, even without a single command given, the fleet of Earth had already changed the balance of the galaxy. The Union had expected that the Earth fleet might make a bold announcement, perhaps send messages across the stars or request a meeting. Instead, the humans remained silent. Their ships moved calmly, never breaking formation, as though they were performing a slow and careful dance. The Union observers watched every detail. The Earth fleet passed through a wide asteroid belt, where thousands of rocks floated in all directions. Any normal fleet would scatter or break formation to avoid collisions. But the Earth ships glided together without hesitation. Not one ship strayed from its path, and not one asteroid struck their hulls. The precision was perfect. On the planet Vera, citizens gathered outside great halls where giant screens displayed the live images. They held their breath as the ships disappeared into the belt of stone and ice. Many whispered that it was too dangerous. Yet when the ships emerged on the other side, still in flawless order, the crowd gasped in wonder. Children cheered, and even the elders nodded in quiet respect. Reports flowed back to the council. Engineers studied the recordings and found something surprising. The Earth fleet did not use the standard navigation systems known to the Union. Instead, their ships seemed to share data instantly, correcting every small change in direction at the same time. It was as if the entire fleet had one mind guiding them. In the Great Council Hall, Erin spoke again. "This is no accident," she said firmly. "They want us to see their discipline. They want us to understand that they are not only strong but also united." The hall fell silent. Everyone knew she was right. Still, not all voices agreed on what this display meant. Some believed Earth was showing respect, proving that it could move without causing harm. Others feared it was a warning, a way of saying, if we can pass through an asteroid belt without error, imagine what else we can do. Commander Rahl, watching from his station near the border, continued to send daily notes. He had begun to admire the quiet strength of the humans. They did not boast. They did not challenge. Yet their very silence created a kind of pressure that words could never achieve. He wrote in his log, "Their silence is their message. It tells us they do not need to speak to be understood." The people of the Union could not stop talking about what they saw. In markets, traders compared the Earth fleet to rivers flowing smoothly through stone. In schools, teachers used the fleet as an example of unity and balance. Some began to wonder if Earth's way of moving together was a lesson, not just a display of power. On the Earth fleet itself, the humans remained calm. They did not rush. Their ship slowed near a drifting moon, circled it in perfect rhythm, and then moved on. The maneuver seemed almost ceremonial, like a respectful greeting to the Union worlds. Observers could not decide whether it was coincidence or a carefully planned message. By the third cycle of their journey, the Union Council began to feel something new. It was not fear in the old sense, but an unease mixed with admiration. They realized the Earth fleet had not fired a single weapon, not spoken a single word of threat, and yet every world in the Union was now thinking about Earth day and night. Speaker Sina voiced the thought aloud during one meeting. "They do not need to fight us to change us," she said. "Their very presence is enough. Look how we have already shifted our focus. Look how we speak of nothing else." The council members nodded, though some did so with tight jaws. Pride was hard to surrender. Many of them had believed the Union was the most advanced gathering in the galaxy. Now a young world was shaking that belief without even trying. The silent demonstration of Earth was becoming the most powerful message the Union had ever received. As the fleet reached the far edge of the asteroid belt, the Union sent a cautious signal. It was a polite request for communication, a simple greeting across the void. The humans received the message but gave no answer. Their ships only changed formation slightly, creating a wide circle before returning to their original path. The meaning of the gesture was debated endlessly. Was it a refusal? Was it a sign of patience? Or was it a way of saying, "We hear you, but we are not ready to speak yet"? Whatever the meaning, the effect was the same. The Union's respect for Earth grew deeper. Across the stars, the phrase repeated itself more and more. One fleet was enough to terrify them. And now, with each quiet move, that truth only became stronger. The Union Council chamber was one of the largest halls in the galaxy. Its walls curved upward into a shining dome where images of stars glowed across the surface. On ordinary days, the chamber was filled with calm voices, trading news and ideas. But now it echoed with tension. Every member of the Union had come to speak about the same subject. The Earth fleet. Representatives from 100 worlds argued at once. Some raised their voices in fear, others in admiration, and some in anger. The hall shook with sound until the high speaker was forced to strike the floor with a staff to bring silence. "Let us speak with order," the high speaker said firmly. "We must decide our path. The humans wait in silence, but our people are restless. They demand answers. What will we do?" The first to rise was Marin from the world of Tyrese. His voice carried across the chamber with strength. "We should prepare defenses," he said. "Earth has shown too much too quickly. They move as if they own the stars. If one fleet can unsettle us, what if there are more?" A murmur of agreement followed his words. Fear had already taken root in many minds. But then Sina from the world of Arl stood to reply. Her tone was calm, but her words carried weight. "We have seen their strength, yes. But what else have we seen? They have not spoken a threat. They have not crossed our borders. Their ships glide with care. Does this not show restraint?" Several members nodded thoughtfully. Others shook their heads, unwilling to accept her view. Next, Erin, the wise speaker, stood to add her voice. "The humans know we are watching. Their silence is not emptiness. It is deliberate. They are testing us, but not with weapons. They are testing our patience, our wisdom, and our ability to see clearly. If we react with fear, we will show weakness. If we react with anger, we will show foolishness. Let us instead speak with them as equals." Her words brought a hush to the hall. For a moment, the council paused to consider. Then a representative from the water world, Callan, broke the silence. "And if they refuse to speak with us, if they remain silent forever, what then? Do we let them circle our borders until our people lose faith in us?" The council fell back into argument. Voices clashed, ideas struck against one another, and the hall once again rang with noise. Far away, the citizens of the Union waited for news. Markets, schools, and homes were filled with questions. Children asked their parents if the humans would be friends or rivals. Traders worried that routes might close. Scientists begged for more data from the fleet. And across every world, the same phrase was whispered again and again. One fleet was enough to terrify them. Back in the chamber, the debate reached a turning point. The High Speaker raised a hand once more. Enough, the Speaker said. We cannot remain divided. We must choose action, not endless words. The Speaker looked across the chamber and spoke with finality. We will send a message to Earth. It will be simple and clear. We will greet them as equals. If they wish to speak, they may. If they do not, then at least the Union will have shown respect. We will not greet them with fear, and we will not greet them with anger. We will greet them with dignity. The decision was met with mixed feelings. Some sighed in relief, others clenched their jaws. But none dared to argue further. The order was given, and the message was prepared. The Union's signal stretched across the void of space, a bright thread of sound and light. It carried only a few words, but those words carried the weight of countless worlds. Greetings from the Union of Worlds. We welcome the people of Earth. May we meet in peace. The message was repeated 3 times, then sent toward the silent fleet. On the border station, Commander Rahl watched the signal leave. He leaned back in his chair and whispered to himself, now we will see what they truly intend. The fleet of Earth received the message. For a long while, there was no reply. The humans gave no words, no sound, and no explanation. Instead, their ships shifted slightly, forming a wide arc across the stars. They slowed their engines as if bowing in respect, then continued their calm flight. The gesture was enough to send fresh waves of debate through the Union. Some said it was a greeting, others said it was avoidance, and a few feared it was something else entirely. But one truth was clear to all. The humans had heard the Union, and they had chosen to answer not with words but with action. The Union Council had thought the humans would remain silent forever. The Earth fleet had circled the borders for many cycles, moving with calm precision, showing discipline but offering no clear words. Many in the Union had grown used to the silence. Some even began to hope the fleet would soon turn back toward its home. But then, without warning, a transmission arrived. It did not come with noise or pride. It arrived in a calm, steady voice that filled the council chamber with sudden stillness. We are the people of Earth, the voice said. We come not to threaten, but to meet. The hall went silent. Even the air itself seemed to pause. The voice of humanity was firm, measured, and without fear. The transmission continued. You have seen one of our fleets. It is not the only one. Earth has many. We hold 10 more fleets within our home system, prepared to move when needed. We tell you this not to bring fear, but to show truth. We wish for peace, yet we are not weak. The council members froze in their seats. The words struck like thunder. 10 more fleets. The very idea was almost impossible. The Union had believed the single fleet already matched their finest. To learn that Earth held 10 more was beyond belief. Whispers broke across the chamber. Some leaned close to their neighbors, repeating the number again and again, as if speaking it might make it less shocking. 10 more fleets. On the world of Arl, crowds gathered outside the halls of news. Screens replayed the human message. People stared in awe. Some shook their heads in disbelief, while others stood tall with a strange pride that such a young world could rise so far. In the markets of Callan, traders stopped their work to listen. Their goods lay forgotten as the message repeated, filling every corner of the square. 10 more fleets, they whispered. 10 more like the first. On the border station, Commander Rahl sat in silence after hearing the message. He had expected something from Earth, but not this. His hands rested still on the console as he thought about what it meant. If even half of the human claim was true, then Earth was no longer a young power. It was a giant waiting to step forward. The council called another urgent meeting. The chamber filled quickly, but for once, the voices were hushed. Fear and awe held them still. Marin was the first to break the silence. "This is not possible," he declared. "They must be lying. No world so young can build so much." Aaron replied with calm certainty. "We doubted their first fleet, and yet it is here. We doubted their silence, and yet it shaped us. Why doubt this, when all else they have shown has proven true?" Sina added her voice. "We must understand the meaning. They could have hidden this from us. They chose instead to reveal it openly. That is not the act of deceivers. It is the act of those who want us to see clearly." The debate grew heavy. Some still argued it was a trick. Others said Earth was trying to gain control by fear. But another thought began to grow in the hall, one that none could deny. If Earth truly had 10 more fleets, then the Union could not match them. The High Speaker rose and spoke to the chamber. "We must look beyond fear. The humans have shown strength, yes, but also restraint. They could have revealed their power with fire. Instead, they revealed it with words. That choice matters." The words calmed the chamber. Slowly, the members began to see the truth. Earth had not come to conquer. It had come to be recognized. Across the Union, the people felt the same mix of fear and respect. Parents told their children the story of the message. Teachers wrote the number 10 on their boards, using it as a lesson in history. Everywhere, the idea of Earth spread like light through glass. On the fleet itself, the humans kept their calm silence after the message. They did not repeat their words, nor did they push forward. They had spoken once, and that was enough. For the Union, the revelation marked a turning point. No longer could they think of Earth as a distant, curious world. No longer could they speak of humans as children of the stars. Earth had stepped forward as a power beyond measure. And yet, the message had ended with a simple wish. "We wish for peace." Those words echoed as strongly as the revelation of the fleets. Together, they shaped a new truth. Earth had power, but it also had choice. And the choice it offered the Union was one of friendship, not fear. The revelation of Earth's 10 additional fleets sent waves of thought through every corner of the Union. The leaders understood something important. Strength alone did not define a world. How it chose to use that strength did. In the council hall, silence held the members as they considered their next steps. The High Speaker spoke, calm but firm. "We have seen their power. We have heard their words. The humans could demand obedience or fear, yet they do not. What does this tell us?" Marin from Tyrese shook his head, still uneasy. "It tells us they are stronger than us. 10 more fleets could overwhelm any defense. We cannot ignore that." Aaron replied softly, "Yes, they are strong. But strength without wisdom is dangerous. We have seen their choice. They reveal power only to teach respect, not to force control. That matters more than any fleet." The council debated long into the cycle. Some wanted to respond cautiously, sending envoys to observe but not engage. Others argued that Earth's calm display showed that it did not wish conflict, and that it could be trusted. Finally, the High Speaker made a decision. "We will send a delegation to Earth. Not as subjects, not as spies, but as equals. We will meet them in honesty and learn what they wish to teach us. The chamber fell quiet. Many were relieved. Others were unsure. But all agreed that this was a new path, one that required courage and patience rather than weapons. Across the Union, citizens felt a shift. The fear that had gripped markets and schools began to fade. Stories now focused on curiosity rather than worry. Children imagined traveling to Earth, and adults spoke of learning from humans rather than fearing them. On Earth, the fleet continued its steady patrol near the Union border. Their calm presence had already changed the galaxy's perception. Yet the humans did not push further. They waited. They allowed the Union to take the first step. The delegation prepared for departure. It was a group chosen not only for skill but for understanding. Scientists, diplomats, and leaders were included. Each was instructed to observe carefully, speak truthfully, and respect the humans' calm strength. Commander Rahl watched the fleet from the border station. He had spent many cycles observing the humans and had come to admire their discipline. He thought about the first fleet that had arrived and the 10 more waiting quietly at home. The thought filled him with awe. The delegation launched in a vessel designed for diplomacy. The journey was smooth, with careful navigation. Each member was aware that history was in motion. The eyes of 100 worlds rested upon them. When the delegation finally approached the Earth fleet, they saw something extraordinary. The ships had arranged themselves in welcoming formation. Not in military order, but in shapes that conveyed calm and balance. It was as if the humans had used the movement of their fleet to speak without words. The delegation's leader, Lyra from the world of Vera, spoke over the communication channel. "We come as friends," she said. "We wish to understand, to meet, and to learn." A calm response came from the fleet. "We welcome you," said the voice of humanity. "You come with honesty. That is the path to trust." For the first time, the Union leaders felt the full weight of what they were seeing. The humans had power beyond measure, yet they chose patience and respect. Strength had not led to domination. Instead, it led to a test of character, and the Union had passed. The delegation docked with one of the human ships. Inside, they found a crew working in quiet harmony. Every task was performed with care, every action balanced with thought. Nothing seemed rushed or forced. Lyra observed the humans carefully. "They are not only strong in technology," she said. "They are strong in mind and spirit. That is what makes them remarkable." The council back home waited anxiously for reports. When the first message arrived, it was brief but powerful. "Earth wishes peace. They act with respect. Their fleets are many, but their hearts are calm." The Union understood. This was a turning point. The galaxy had seen what true power could be. Not weapons, not fleets, not domination. But choice. And humanity had chosen wisely. The Union Council waited for the final report from the delegation. Every world held its breath. Across markets, schools, and homes, citizens spoke in hushed tones. The young and old wondered what the humans would say and how the galaxy would change. Then the message arrived. It was brief, clear, and full of meaning. Earth does not seek control. They wish only friendship and cooperation. Their fleets are strong, yet they move with calm and care. They are ready to teach and to learn. The Union is now invited to join them as equals. Silence followed the announcement. Even the council members found it hard to speak. Many had never seen such power combined with restraint. The galaxy had always known strength as a tool of command. Yet Earth had shown that true strength could inspire respect without fear. The high speaker rose, voice firm and proud. We have seen something rare. A young world has arrived with courage, wisdom, and discipline. They have shown that strength is not measured only by fleets or weapons. It is measured by the choices made with power. Today, we welcome Earth as a leading voice among the stars. Across the Union, celebration was quiet but deep. People spoke of Earth with respect. Children drew pictures of the shining fleet. Scholars wrote essays about human discipline. Traders and travelers told stories of the young world that had changed the galaxy without raising a weapon. The Earth fleet itself remained steady at the border. Its ships glimmered with soft light, calm and patient. Humans worked within each vessel with quiet care, moving as one body, ready but not aggressive. The display continued to inspire awe in all who watched. When the Union delegation returned, they brought more than reports. They brought stories of the people inside the fleet. They spoke of humans working together with careful planning, of leaders listening to their crews, and of everyone sharing responsibility. The lessons were clear: unity and respect could accomplish more than fear or domination. The Council decided to open regular communication with Earth. Meetings were scheduled, exchanges of knowledge began, and ambassadors traveled back and forth. The galaxy slowly adjusted to the new truth. Earth was not only strong, Earth was wise. On the first meeting day, representatives of the Union and Earth gathered in a large chamber aboard one of the human ships. The walls glowed softly with light, showing images of stars, planets, and peaceful worlds. Humans greeted the Union delegates with calm smiles. They spoke of their fleets, their research, and their hopes for the galaxy. Lyra, the delegation leader, was amazed. "They do not boast," she whispered to a fellow representative. "They do not try to impress. They simply show what they are and invite us to learn." The humans spoke of exploration, science, and shared growth. They told stories of their home world, of the challenges they had overcome, and of the dreams they held for the future. Their words carried truth and humility. Back in the council chambers across Union space, a phrase began to echo everywhere. It had started months before with awe and fear, and now it rang with respect. One fleet was enough to terrify them. 10 more proved their wisdom. That truth became a lesson for the galaxy. The young humans had arrived not to dominate, but to lead through example. They had shown that intelligence, unity, and restraint could change the balance of power more than any battle. Over time, Earth became a symbol of hope. Worlds that had once feared the unknown began to trust more. Trade and communication expanded. Scientists worked together across species. Children learned that strength could be gentle, and courage could be kind. The galaxy had changed forever, not through conquest or conflict, but through the example of a single world. The fleets of Earth, calm, disciplined, and many, were no longer a threat. They were a promise of peace and cooperation. The Union Council often remembered the first fleet that arrived. It had been small compared to the 10 waiting at home, but its impact was immense. One fleet had shown the galaxy that humanity was not like any other. 10 more fleets had shown that humans could be leaders, guardians, and friends. And from that day, Earth's place among the stars was secure. The galaxy looked to the future not with fear, but with wonder.